Investors looking for fixed income returns, clearly. If you've got term deposits, you might be looking as an alternative. If you've got managed funds or ETFs, you might be looking at an alternative of owning bonds directly. Or retirees or self-managed super funds. Retirees may be thinking about, I need predictable income. I need to be less exposed to the volatility of equities and the fact that dividends can go up and down. I will need more stable, predictable income, and that's where bonds play a clear role, as do term deposits. And bonds are obviously a bit more return for a bit more risk than the term deposits. Self-managed super funds looking for long-term growth of your wealth. Bonds play the role of, well, this is my fixed income portion. I've got my equities and my property, I've got a bit of cash. I'm moving some of the cash into bonds to get more of a return. So really, bonds have an application across all types of investors. And there's also an interesting application in terms of how old you are, because clearly if you're in your early 20s, you might have 40 years worth of investment ahead of you, and volatility can actually be your friend because you actually want assets to go up in value over the long term. Whereas if you're in your 40s, you're thinking, well, I need to have more of my money in more stable savings, and you're in your 60s and 70s and into 80s and 90s, you don't really want to be exposed to the volatility of equities. You want to have more and more of your investments in stable, income-producing, capital-stable assets. And one of the founders of Vanguard, a guy called John Bogle, had a saying, own your age in bonds. He's effectively saying if you're in your 20s, have 20% of your investments in bonds and the rest in growth assets, in your 40s 40%, in your 70s 70%, really saying that as you move through the stages of life, more and more of your investments should be capital stable, income producing, and less should be aggressive growth seeking. It is very important that many Australians do need to think more about, I've got 80% in equities and I'm about to retire. That's not a good place to be in. If equities suddenly tumble, if something happens in the global economy and we get a 50% fall in asset prices, that's terrible for you if you're about to retire. So think about your allocation to more stable, whether it's fixed income, term deposits, or government bonds even, or corporate bonds, or XTBs over them. That is the type of solid, stable investment you should be thinking about as you move through life.